Irish Illustrated's 1, 2, 3. Our question for today is, what is your wildest road game experience covering Notre Dame football?
Well, Tim's going to have a lot more anecdotes than I am in his 3.5 decades of covering Notre Dame football on the road, but I have to start with North Carolina State in the Hurricane. Big distinction between Clemson. Clemson, it was like drizzling when we went to the game. At North Carolina State, not only were the light fixtures swaying in the stadium, when we walk outside to interview the players, everybody's umbrellas were folded up and thrown in the air because the wind was so bad. There was an uprooted tree that wasn't there when we walked back to our car. And at my hotel room, when I still have to send stories, there was no power. They handed me a glow stick to find my room, and the alcohol was free.
The uprooted tree was rooted when we first saw it.
Yes, it was rooted when we first went
Yeah,
through.
I have a bunch. I mean, the countless travel issues that I've dealt with over 38 years is ridiculous. I can remember, back in the day, technologically, we weren't real sound, like in the late 80s going to Penn State, and the little motel that I was staying in, I couldn't send my story back. I literally had to check into a hotel, transmit my story, and then basically check out of that hotel because I had 2 rooms at that point. But, traveling to the Hawaii Bowl in 2008, it all worked out pretty well because I got to Hawaii.
Yeah, great.
It was about a full day ordeal. Ended up spending a night in Phoenix. The Nebraska fans in 2001 that formed a path for the Notre Dame players to come through after the game, just showing respect towards Notre Dame. I'd never seen anything like that. The flip side, going to Ohio State in 1995, I feared for my life. I was actually holding a Notre Dame media guide, and apparently the Ohio State fans interpreted that as I was a Notre Dame fan, or I was definitely with Notre Dame. I could have just easily been holding an Ohio State media guide, but they gave me some business about that. Road trips, driving to Missouri for a game in 1984, riding in cars on the way back. I have a bunch of them, no doubt about it.
I was locked out of my media parking garage in Soldier Field in 2012. I went to go into the garage, and the garage was closed, and security had gone home in Soldier Field. So that was a lot of fun at 2:30 in the morning. 2 years ago, the Odyssey of when I believe I was the first COVID-19 patient during the Cotton Bowl because of my Tulsa overnight Petri dish bus ride that really ruined me for the rest of the weekend. And I think, Tim, you remind me with the Ohio State thing, far tamer fans. But do you remember in 2012 when Notre Dame secured the game against USC and security ushered us down through the stands? Yes. And the guy screamed in front of us, "Notre Dame media coming through," and that just incited people to not want us to pass very easily.
It was like, shh, don't say that. Stop. We had a parking garage incident at USC the last time we were there.
Yeah, I had to try to climb in the second
You were scaling the walls to get to our car. My most recent, I guess, is 2018 getting to New York for the Syracuse game. We all had flights early, and it was like 8 a.m. I knew that there were not going to be any flights going out there. So I rented a car and drove to New York. The happy part of that is that I got a chance to see my son in New York City. So not all of the bad experiences end up remaining bad the whole time. That's Irish Illustrated's 1, 2, 3. Thank you for joining us.